What is good, Cardano fam, ADA gang? We have lots of exciting updates to unpack today, so hit that subscribe, hit that like. Cardano ADA 24-hour trade volume surpasses $1.1 billion according to CoinGecko. MEXC ranks Cardano as the fifth most traded asset during their zero trading fee campaign. And guess what? It's that day, guys. Sooner than we anticipated. A wild Snek has appeared, says Kraken Pro. And Kraken just made the announcement this afternoon. So Snek, guys, the listing, deposits, withdrawals are live. Trading looks like it goes live April 28th. Yes, just 3 days away. So people are so excited. I'm so excited for Snek, for Cardano, and this will also benefit the entire Cardano native token ecosystem. So this is fantastic news. We were highly anticipating this. Kraken is listing the Snek. And speaking of, markets pumping, lots of Snek volume, and Snek recently flipped dog on Bitcoin, GIGA on Solana, and MOG on Ethereum. Yes, prominent meme coins really showcasing the power of our brand, but also that there's a lot of trade volume on Cardano dexes. So this is fantastic, guys. Charles, we have so many clips to release today, tomorrow. He says Microsoft approached him in the past. It's a 50-year-old company that built Windows, a new form of matter in a quantum computer, is worth trillions of dollars, and has hundreds of thousands of the most skilled engineers. He used this example because you just don't go and find like random companies, right? You have to have the receipts, you have to have the experience. And that's why I also have confidence that Input Output will do a fantastic job with their proposed Cardano roadmap. I think is fantastic. Charles says, I still possess an enormous amount of ADA, probably one of the largest ADA holders in the world. I said publicly we would not vote because we would skew the entire vote, and then the vote wouldn't have any legitimacy. Now, some people might see this as negative, right? Oh, he has all this ADA and he's asking for more. But let's flip the switch to the positive. The fact that he has a big ADA bag means that he's personally interested in supporting the project beyond just technology, beyond just personal. This is important because there's a lot on his shoulders, right? IO, ADA. It's just good from a business aspect to have some of that pressure, have some skin in the game. Charles says he spoke with ALGO founder Silvio Micali about staking stablecoins for multi-resource consensus with Minotaur. It is possible to do an AVS system with it. I think Silvio has a really good idea on it. So we have seen Algorand in the past talk about the idea of maybe being a partner chain. I think there could be some great synergy between Algorand and Cardano. Charles says Bitcoin DeFi intimately connects Bitcoin and Cardano together in a way that works for Bitcoin. Transaction fees are in Bitcoin. Rewards are in Bitcoin. They have to be. It has to feel and look like an extension of the Bitcoin network. If there's any third-party token, you're done. You're dead. And I kind of agree with this because Bitcoiners will be compelled to use something that's just natural to them. They have to be incentivized. And if there's too many roadblocks, they'll be discouraged. So that does resonate with me. Charles says we have a dedicated team on Bitcoin DeFi. We're partnered with Fairgate and that alliance with BitVMX FORCE, working on BitVMX. We right now have developers writing a UPLC to RISC-V compiler so Aiken and Plutus can compile to Bitcoin script. Smart contract layer, a lot of goodness around the corner. Charles says we're working on the Bitcoin bridge and wallet integration. This month, Bitcoin support for Lace. The very next update of that pathway is Bitcoin DeFi on Lace, where it's literally a button you click to enable Bitcoin DeFi. That's what I'm talking about. These sort of updates, guys, is beautiful technology hidden behind obscurity, just like the engine under the hood of a car. This sounds like the right UX approach for product. Charles says, our beautiful roadmap puts us best in class with Bitcoin DeFi, Cardano becoming the largest AVS system. fully realizing the power of extended UTXO, Babel fees, and the telescoping scalability and fast finality with Peras, Praos, and Leos. And again, largest AVS system in a nutshell. That's having multi-resource consensus, selling services to other networks, which we have security, we have a lot of things. Telescoping scalability in the event that if Leos has a failure, some sort of error or is being attacked, we don't shut down. We just go to the other mode that we have that's been running for over 7 years. Charles says a white paper will be published with all the midnight tokenomics. So we have some midnight alpha for you guys. A dual token model. One lives on midnight and one lives on Cardano. We're doing our final review and then we'll publish the paper and then the glacier drop. So we need to wait for this paper before we hear more about this airdrop detail. So we'll watch closely. Charles says the vast majority of value for midnight is going to come from servicing other networks, because the question was, well, if midnight goes in the top 10, isn't that kind of parasitic to Cardano's growth? Won't that bring it down from the ranking, right, price? But that's actually not the case. Charles reaffirms here that midnight will bring transaction volume into Cardano from Solana, Ethereum, Bitcoin, and other places. It's adding a new capability. So it's bringing this new revenue flow. It's going to be a positive feedback loop. Charles says XRP is going to be part of the midnight airdrop. We also saw him announce that in Paris and giving multiple nods to Ripple. So maybe something's cooking with Ripple. He's kind of alluding to it. Charles says Chainlink has us on the list for integration. They have a new framework to do these integrations. I would like to see it. We need a tier 1 oracle. There's also Flare and others. I like the Link community. They're good people. So this is kind of up in the air in terms of timeline, but I think it's inevitable that we will see Chainlink deepen the relations with Cardano. Charles Hoskinson had a great interview with David Gokhshtein. Big shout out to David. He says Bitcoin DeFi liquidity is going to Cardano and maybe Solana, but not Ethereum. Charles also talks about the telescoping scalability protocol with Ouroboros that Cardano has. Once we add Leos, it's as fast as Solana. If it fails for any reason, it defaults to what we have right now running for over 7 years. It never shuts down. It just slows down when there's attacks. And that's fantastic because this is really attacking that blockchain trilemma: decentralization, security, scalability. In essence, Cardano is really kind of getting best of all worlds. Charles Hoskinson says crypto's winning. It's a $3 trillion economy. It's going to be 10 trillion, 15 trillion before the end of the decade. And to my surprise, I've not really ever seen him talk about the price of ADA very directly. And here he says, if we pull these things off, i.e. the input-output Cardano Roadmap, the value creation will be in the tens of billions of dollars. We could be looking at $3 ADA, $5 ADA, at $10 ADA. Well, not too bad. We got to hit $1 first, but not too bad. Well, let's take a look at what's going on with the senators and whatnot, congressmen. Senator Cynthia Lummis says, I will continue to hold the Federal Reserve accountable until the digital asset industry gets more than a life jacket. Chair Powell, they need a fair shake. So really Lummis is saying that we need to be respected here, right? Not just like, yeah, we removed these rules for the bank, it's good to go, but it's kind of like lip service or it's missing some important details. SEC Chairman Paul Atkins opening today saying innovation has been stifled for the last several years due to market and regulatory uncertainty that unfortunately the SEC has fostered. I like this because Paul is opening with trust, transparency, and ownership for the mistakes that they've made, which ties nicely to this last tweet. Congressman French Hill says the House has been seeking technical assistance from the industry, the SEC, and the CFTC for an updated draft of the FIT21 market structure bill. A discussion draft of the new legislation and a hearing are just weeks away. So guys, I know price goes up, price goes down a little bit. But I think that we're cooking right now. I think we're cooking right now. Volume peaked to 1.1 bill. Snek is going crazy. A lot of amazing stuff around the corner. Over on TradingView, ADA, yeah, around 708. So it's come down a little bit from the 7.3. We peaked up to 7.3. I'd be happy to just stay above this 7.7 level. Bitcoin still doing really good, 94.7, and did peak up to the 95.5 ranges. So Bitcoin always leads, but also Ethereum needs to lead and really showcase its prowess for the rest of the altcoin industry. Russell 2000 index, this is good because despite what's happening in crypto, traditionally the stocks have been leading and then the altcoins, and stocks need to lead in spite of gold pumping. Stocks leading will also showcase gold kind of normalizing, people going more risk on, and with stocks leading, then we can get that tech boom and also translate it into crypto as well. Right now, greed fear index, we're around kind of like neutral right now. So I think we're just cooking right now, guys. I would say the most interesting tweet for today is definitely Charles going crazy with his predictions, both in terms of like $15 trillion market cap for crypto, which is totally plausible. We need to get this stablecoin floodgates open. And Brad Garlinghouse was alluding to the same thing as well. So what do you guys think? Will we see $3, $5, $10 ADA? Will it be this year? Will it be next year? I do think we can still surpass our previous all-time high. I think we're in a very competitive, we have a strong competitive advantage right now with all the tech and everything going on with our narrative in our community. So we're going to be patient, guys. Continue to watch the market. Let me know your thoughts. Smash that subscribe, smash that like. I'll see you in the next Angry Crypto Show.